Welcome back, boxing fans. So, once again, JB doing what JB does, blatantly being a hypocrite. He's complaining about a small group of people he calls the anti black boxing fan, that only discredit black American fighters and try to act as if black American fighters aren't great. Yet, that's exactly what John Boxing does to every fighter that's a non black fighter. Literally, this video, that's what he's doing. He's literally shitting on Vasily Lomachenko, right? A non-black fighter, discrediting him and throwing him under the bus. But yet he's accusing other people because he read one post on Facebook that somehow now means that everybody is somehow shitting on Shane Mosley. But let's look at this. We know Shane Mosley. So let's look at the facts and let's look at some of the truth behind this story. So, of course, he's going to defend Shane Mosley because Shane Mosley's black. So, because Shane Mosley's black, he obviously is a better fighter than Lomachenko, right? Obviously, because that's the way guys like John think. He thinks that literally black athletes, blacks are just better than non-blacks. Let's take a quick peek just to look truthfully into John Boxing. Community posts. Here you go. This will tell you everything you need to know. Did he take that comment? Oh, he did. He took it down. Literally, he took it down. Isn't that funny? He posts something in his community page, basically saying that if there were no black Americans, America would be irrelevant around the world as far as sports is concerned. But yet, that ain't true. I mean, look, here he's hyping up an black American guy in the Olympics. But who dominated the Olympic boxing? Uzbekistan. 5 gold medals. 7 weight divisions. They won 5 gold medals in 7 weight divisions. Right? They're not black. They're Asian, Asian white, Euro Asian. But the reality of his narrative is, so if blacks weren't in America, America would be irrelevant in sports. There's almost 400 million people in America. If you kicked out all these black Americans and just replaced them with non-black Americans, he didn't specify Latino, Asian, or Caucasian, because in truth, he thinks blacks are just better than all of those people. So it doesn't matter. You could replace the how many millions of black Americans with Asian Americans, Latino Americans, and white Americans, and America would be irrelevant in world sports. Yet, if you look at countries around the world that dominate in sports, you'll notice there's tons of those countries that have 0 black Americans. Literally 0. And this doesn't diminish or downplay black Americans. People understand that black Americans are super athletic. Super athletic doesn't mean you're great in sports. I played basketball with a lot of guys that were super athletic, but fucking garbage basketball players. Could jump and fucking were fast, but fucking couldn't dribble, couldn't shoot, didn't understand how to play the fucking game. Right? So with sports, there's more than just simple athleticism. But people have different type of athleticism. That's what we know about different races. And even within a race, you have different people in that race as well. So to use these generalizations is just ignorant and stupid, but that's what John does consistently. And points fingers and accuses everyone else, but then puts posts like that in his community page, comes out with videos like this, accusing people of hating black Americans. Well, he goes on to hate a Caucasian European. You can't make this shit up. Literally, you can't make this shit up, right? Mosley is being disrespected by fans for comparing Vasily Lomachenko. If Lomachenko fans feel that Lomachenko is better than fucking Mosley, how is that disrespectful? Right? This comes back to what we see from guys like John consistently. Whenever you compare a black American fighter to a historical great black fighter, even if it should not fucking even be in comparison, because there's no comparison. It's just really disrespectful to compare Deontay Wilder to fucking Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali. But that's what people were doing. That's disrespectful. But that's okay because he's black. But when you compare a non-Black American to historically great Black American fighters, instead of understanding that people are praising Black American fighters, using them as the measuring point, right? This is not disrespectful or hateful. Using guys like Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, and other great fighters as the measuring stick. How much more praise do you want? Like, that is the ultimate fucking praise. And when you compare non-Black fighters to these kind of fighters, like when people compare Golovkin to Hagler and Hopkins, it's ironic that Monzon wasn't in the conversation. See, that's disrespectful. The fact that Monzon is fucking ignored from the conversation. Why? Well, because he's not Black. Even though Monzon is a historical, maybe the number one historical fucking middleweight in boxing history. And if you would have compared Golovkin to Monzon, these dudes wouldn't have fucking been in their feelings. But because people compared Golovkin to Hagler and fucking B-Hop, who, unlike Golovkin when they were making this comparison, had already been beaten multiple times. Golovkin at that point had never been beaten, right? But it was disrespectful to compare Golovkin. It's disrespectful for Bob Arum, the promoter of Vasily Lomachenko, to say that Lomachenko is the best fighter he's seen since Ali. He didn't say he was as good as Ali or better than Ali. He didn't equate one to the other. He just said that's the best fighter he's seen since Ali. And of course, that's his opinion. And he is the promoter. So as a promoter, you're going to blow smoke up your fighter's fucking ass. I mean, that is understood, right? That is what promoters do. Look at Don King as the fucking perfect example. Nobody would be in their feelings if Don King was blowing smoke up his fighter's ass. But it's because Don King was blowing smoke up Black American fighters' asses. So that was okay. See, only when you're giving praise to a non-Black fighter is it disrespectful. Right? And the reality is, it's interesting because we've seen this guy go on a tangent, a huge tangent recently, like the LDBC, who are fucking going way out of their way to keep Ryan Garcia relevant. They're the ones keeping Ryan Garcia relevant because they're trying to milk fucking Ryan Garcia's name for fucking AdSense on YouTube. You don't see me talking about fucking Ryan Garcia. But these guys are using him and his name and shitting on him, disrespecting for him, trying to use the whole Fury, Wilder, Glovegate type of scenario to fucking fanboy fucking Devin Haney. Because Devin Haney is their new fucking, boy of the week. And like Spence, like Wilder, he also was humiliated in the fucking ring. That's the way it is. Unfortunately, in boxing, sometimes that's what happens when you overhype a fighter and then he gets his ass fucking exposed. I mean, 78 has a history of doing that. He admits that he was a fucking huge Mike Tyson fan, only to have Mike Tyson be humiliated in fucking Tokyo by Buster Douglas. And then humiliated by fucking Evander Holyfield. Right? And then really just to be fucking manhandled and had his ass whooped by Lennox Lewis. Does this take away from Mike Tyson? Not in my eyes. But of course, I'm not a fucking fanboy. I can respect Tyson for what he did, and I can understand the context for how these fights happen and the situation behind them, right? And because of that, I can be fair and not overly critical of Mike Tyson losing those fights. Of course, I was a Holyfield fan, so I was pushing for Holyfield to beat Tyson. Lennox Lewis, we know that was just a shadow version of Mike Tyson. And as far as Buster Douglas, this was a Mike Tyson that was very distracted because of his fame. Poor boy, rich, fucking enjoying the luxury of superstardom. And what happens when you do that? This is what happens, right? So I understand the situation. But you fanboy for him, and then when he gets humiliated, once again, a guy that you overhyped disappoints you. I'm a huge Pacquiao fan. When he got beat by Marquez and Bradley and Floyd, it didn't fucking tear me apart because I understand that fighters lose. I'm still a huge Pacquiao fan. Win, lose, or fucking draw. Just like Vasily Lomachenko. But let's take a deeper look at this whole conversation. We know that At 135 pounds, Mosley was being considered the Mexican killer. He was killing California, and people were saying he was blatantly ducking Floyd Mayweather during that era. Right? He did fight Oscar De La Hoya. That was his big, big, big sort of claim to fame at that point of his career. Prior to that, he was just fighting California Mexicans and Mexican Mexicans. And with his hand speed and power, he was just too complicated for those fighters. And went on a great string, looking fantastic against cookie cutter opponents. When he stepped up and faced Oscar De La Hoya was considered the face of boxing in America, really, and was favored to beat him. The first fight was a split decision. The other one was a unanimous decision. 2 good wins for Shane Mosley. But then it came out that Shane Mosley was using PEDs. He was tied together as thick as thieves with fucking Balco. We know who Balco is. Balco are the same people that fucking now are involved with what's that California-based supplement company that everyone's working for, right? And the head guy there, Barry Bonds, was attached to them. Barry Bonds has been blackballed and not allowed to become a Hall of Famer because of his connection to Balco. But it's interesting that JB ignores Shane Mosley's connection to Balco, a California-based pharmaceutical company that was helping pro athletes be their best. Right? But you're going to be hypercritical of Ryan Garcia cheating, but you're going to blatantly fucking ignore Shane Mosley. That shit's ridiculous. Let's just pop up here for a second. I just want to see if I say Shane Mosley Balco, what does it say? Shane Mosley Balco scandal. Shane Mosley admits he unknowingly took Balco steroids. Unknowingly. Of course, unknowingly. But see, John's going to ignore that. Here it is. Dan Raphael. He made this article in 2007, September 28. If I could fucking pick it up that way on ESPN, so can you. Say, let me just screen share that shit so you can see it for yourself. Just so you know I'm not lying. And I ain't saying this to hate on Shane Mosley, but I'm not the one that came out with a video trying to make some racial fucking narrative to fucking, downplay and dismiss Vasily Lomachenko because Lomachenko fans think he's a better fighter than Shane Mosley. Me too. I think he's a better fighter than Mosley. Not as powerful, but way better fucking boxer than Shane Mosley. Way better footwork than Shane Mosley. Not the hand speed and the physical attributes that Mosley had. But of course, we know that Balco probably was a huge player involved in this. So let's read this. You can see it right there. So it says, Shane Mosley says he is a health freak type of guy who had no idea that what he took for a few weeks in the fall of 2003, before the Balco designer steroids, the Clear and the Cream, which he was pressured to take by his former strength and conditioning coach. Pressured. So you pay this guy, but you were pressured. Unknowingly, yes, some of the substances that they were talking about were being used as part of the workouts. I didn't know what the hell it was. Ignorance is no bliss. Mosley said in an interview with ESPN Friday when he was training for Miguel Cotto. This was prior to him facing Cotto and getting beat by Miguel Cotto, a guy that nobody thinks is a better all-around fighter than Oscar De La Hoya. Mosley was responding to a report earlier Friday in SI, which cited multiple unnamed sources who attended the International Anti-Doping Conference in Colorado Springs, Colorado last November, said that lead Balco investigator alleged that Mosley used the steroid as well as an EPO in the doping regimen prior to his junior middleweight championship rematch with Oscar De La Hoya in September 2003. Mosley won via controversial decision. I had no intention of trying to cheat or do anything crazy. My thing is live healthy, eat healthy. That's how I live. I'm not afraid what people will think. I know the truth. The truth that you cheated. It's easy to come here and say, I didn't know, but that's the same as people shitting on Tyson Fury for saying he ate fucking wild boar nuts, or fucking Canelo Alvarez for fucking eating tainted meat, or fucking who's fucking the English fighter who just got caught, who said that he ate what the fuck did he eat? Something, some other ridiculous fucking too many eggs, too many eggs. Uh, Ben, was it Ben? Benson? Yeah, Benson. So Benson eating too many eggs, right? you know, this is constantly the situation whenever people get caught, like Ryan Garcia saying that he didn't know that, it was tainted supplements. People always gonna fucking lie. They're always gonna fucking cover their ass because that's what people do. But you can see right here this huge article written by Dan Raphael in 2007. And this was prior to his second fight with Floyd Mayweather. With Oscar De La Hoya. So Shane Mosley, Sr., Sugar Shane, 49, 10, and 1. Only stopped once in his career. 5'8 and a half, 71-inch reach from California. So we know that he had a very good career against California-based Mexican fighters, right? Beating guys like John Molina, Wilfredo Ruiz, Jesse James Leah, Golden Johnson, John Brown, Wilfredo Rivera, Willie Wise, right? Good fighters. Not one of the fighters he fought before 2000 when he fought him were elite. Philip Holiday, South African undefeated fighter, won his IBF title against. You don't think fucking Vasily Lomachenko would have fucking destroyed Philip Holiday? Really? All these dudes he fought, there's not one guy you could list that you fucking wouldn't literally call a cherry pick if Lomachenko fought them. Literally, none of them. Molina, Ruiz, Leah, Johnson, Brown. Can you imagine fighting a guy who was 15-2-2 or fucking 19-5, right? If Lomachenko fought any of those dudes, he would have been considered a fucking cherry pick. Willie Wise, 24-6-4, cherry pick. Lomachenko would have been fucking crucified by guys like John and non-black fighters. Then he fought Oscar De La Hoya, right? Oscar coming off his first career loss for a welterweight title. Granted, Mosley came up 2 weight divisions. So let's see. Willie Wise. Let's look at the bout. So he fought Willie Wise. Does it list the weight? This was a super welterweight fight. Super welterweight. So he fought Willie Wise at 154 pounds. Rafael Rivera. I'm trying to find the specifics, but I can't recall specifically when he fought these fighters and what weight class it was at. But you can be sure that when he fought fucking Jesse James Leah in 1998, that was 135 pounds, right? Here you go. IBF World Lightweight title. IBF World Lightweight title. IBF World Lightweight title. 1999, John Brown lightweight titles. Then, of course, maybe he moved up after that to face Rivera, Wise, and then get the fight with De La Hoya. So he moved up from 135 all the way to 154, 140, 147, 154. 3 weight divisions to face Willie Wise. And then obviously faced Oscar at 147 pounds, 2 weight divisions up from his division where he was a world champion. And it's not a surprise that he was on PEDs to put on weight to fight at that weight division. Not a surprise. After beating him, he fought Antonio Diaz, Shannon Taylor, Adrian Stone, and then faced, of course, Vernon Forrest, a very long, very slick boxer, able to dominate on the outside, beating him 2 times clearly by decision. Then faced Raul Marquez, a one-dimensional, flat-footed type of fighter. Then he rematched Oscar De La Hoya, where he admitted to being on PEDs. If he admitted to being on PEDs there, what was he doing before that? when he literally had to jump up 2 weight divisions. Then, of course, he moved up to 154 after facing Oscar De La Hoya, lost twice to Winky Wright. And then, two nobodies, and then Bernardo Vargas. This was the same Vargas that obviously had been beaten by Trinidad and I think De La Hoya. And then he fought him and destroyed him in 2 great fights, right? Great win for him, Luis Colazo, and then Miguel Cotto, who he beat. And this was, of course, 2007, when he was exposed for cheating back in 2003, 4 years earlier. And who knows what he was doing before that? Because if you got caught cheating, like people love to talk about Canelo Alvarez or anyone else, anybody else that got caught, then you'd have to say the same thing about Shane Mosley, right? Lost to Margarito, lost to Floyd, draw against Sergio Mora, got fucking destroyed by Pacquiao, destroyed by Alvarez, beat Pablo Cesar Cano, and then went on to fight, not bad opponents, ended up retiring after getting beat by David Aviasian, the same guy that Boots and Bud Crawford recently beat, right? So I ain't shitting on Shane Mosley. I like Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley was one of my favorite fighters. I like Shane Mosley way more than I liked Oscar De La Hoya. So I was very happy and excited when he beat him. And, of course, disappointed when he lost to Winky Wright, who was a boring fighter and I never enjoyed watching, and Vernon Forrest, a guy that I watched and I never was a big fan of because, again, stylistically, not a fighter I enjoyed. Mosley was the kind of fighter you could enjoy watching, right? A boxer puncher, sensational power, fun to watch, a really exciting fighter, right? So I ain't coming here hating on the guy because of some fucking race narrative that JB is pushing. I was much more a Mosley fan than De La Hoya. I praised and wanted Mosley to win. And I never talk about him getting caught using PEDs, but it's just ironic because we see the history from JB just recently with the criticism he throws consistently towards Canelo, Fury, Ryan Garcia, and others, right? For failed drug tests and PEDs and how these guys are off the hook for using PEDs, whereas nobody even mentions Mosley and the fact he admitted to using PEDs. Is Mosley part of the Hall of Fame? Because wouldn't that be ironic? He fucking was part of Balco. The Boxing Hall of Fame lets him become a Hall of Famer, but Barry Bonds still isn't in the Hall of Fame for baseball because of his use of Balco, the cream and the clear. I wish I could get some of the cream and the clear. That stuff sounds perfect. I don't need to stick needles in my ass. I just need to rub this shit on, and I get these great results. That shit's money. I'm not somebody who's opposed to PEDs. I don't care. Really, I don't care. It's no skin off my ass either way. But the irony is now it's disrespectful to think that Vasily Lomachenko somehow isn't as good as Mosley, a confirmed cheater. That's the irony, right? I mean, JB literally said, well, he lost to 3 of the 5 best fighters he's faced. Well, Mosley lost to 4 of the 5 best fighters he faced. So the same criticism you're throwing towards Lomachenko, you can literally throw towards Mosley. Literally. Right? You're going to be critical of Lomachenko because he lost to, what's his face, in his second pro fight, who fucking didn't make weight and fucking fouled like crazy and lost a split decision. And looked like he was going to stop him in the 12th round. Okay, like that's fucking the worst thing that happened in your second fight. And then losing, to a great young power puncher, very athletic, when you had a hurt shoulder, apparently. I mean, whatever that is. But the reality is you also were super competitive in that fight. If you would have won the 12th round, that could have potentially been a draw. And it looked like you were potentially going to stop him in Teofimo Lopez. So you lost to him. Both very competitive. You never really fucking got destroyed in either one of those 2 fights. Then you faced Devin Haney, who, based on JB's ways of talking about fighters, he's a blatant weight bully. A guy who was draining himself down to 135, coming in at weight over 147, clearly 2 divisions bigger than Lomachenko, and arguably fucking lost that fight. But because of 3 American judges in Vegas, once again, the Eastern European got robbed on the fucking scales. Once again, this is not the first time we've seen it. Kovalev, Golovkin, Lomachenko, and Bolchak just fucking 2 weeks ago. Right? Consistently, Eastern Europeans getting robbed by American judges in Vegas. Consistently. But the funny thing is, this guy had Devin Haney, pound for pound, the number 2 best fighter in the world. So losing to the number 2 best pound for pound fighter in the world in a fight that really was a controversial loss, somehow that is disrespectful to your career. Okay. So those are your 3 losses, and somehow that's hateful. And the funny thing is, then this dude comes out literally with this video right afterwards.
One of the dumbest phrases.
Fighters don't become the prize by not stepping. The problem. Obviously, he's saying the problem with.
I keep hearing about Gervonta Davis. Is that
oh my God!
He needs
Stop. We don't need to fucking listen to you talk. I know you're going to get in your feelings if you do. So fighters don't become the prize by not stepping. Not stepping. What does that mean? The problem with boxing are the stupid fans. The funny thing is, people are critical, black and white fans. The LDDC, who John supports like crazy, they're some of the biggest critics of Gervonta Tank Davis. Of course, they're huge Devin Haney dick riders, so it's no surprise. Just like Gervonta Tank Davis fans are some of the biggest haters towards Devin Haney. John won't talk about that, but that's all factual. That's complete true, right? Like they criticize him because he's yet to step up and take on quality opponents. But John, JB, of course, is going to ignore that, downplay it, and dismiss it. But yet be critical of everybody else. Example, Canelo Alvarez, whose resume is fucking, you can't even compare Canelo's resume to Gervonta Tank Davis. That shit is so far in the opposite direction, it's ridiculous, right? The best guy Gervonta Davis beat was Petraza at 130 pounds when he was an unbeaten world champion. After that, he moved to 135 pounds, never faced a world champion yet. Never faced a world champion yet. Moved to 140, faced a fucking regular WBA 140-pound champion. Basically fucking ducking the real champions. And I'd say he needs to move up and fight those guys. But if you're going to move up and try to act like you're some fucking superstar by fighting an unknown regular champion, let's just keep it 100. Because, of course, when Canelo moved up to 168 and faced Rocky Fielding, people shit on him like hard, critically ripped him to pieces. But what was the difference between a Rocky Fielding and fucking the dude that Tank Davis fought, Mario Barros? No fucking difference. 2 mediocre champions that weren't good enough to get legitimate titles, so fucking won baby titles. And that's the guy he chose to fight moving up, right? And the other funny thing about the situation is he criticized Tank Davis, defends Tank Davis for draining Ryan Garcia at a catch weight and putting a rehydration clause, saying even fucking playing field. But yet he defends Devin Haney being a weight bully against Lomachenko. Imagine if Lomachenko would have forced Devin Haney to have a fucking rehydration clause. Imagine how things would have been different in that situation. And let's look at this fucking clown, John Boxing. Golovkin's fans should be the last ones criticizing a fighter's resume. Golovkin's fights with Canelo Alvarez are the kind of resume fights that Tank Davis doesn't have. So what are you talking about? Like, the funny thing is, you're trying to criticize Golovkin, but Golovkin literally fought a future Hall of Famer, a pound for pound top fighter. Something Tank Davis has never done. Tank Davis is going to be 31 years old. He ain't old, but like he's at the point of his career where it's piss or get off the fucking pot. And the problem is he ain't fucking getting off the pot. He got a fight set in November. We know he's not going to fight Lomachenko, and he ain't going to fight Shakur Stevenson. He ain't going to fight Devin Haney. He ain't going to fight fucking Teofimo Lopez. So who the fuck's he going to fight? First of all, you got to see what in-house PBC opponents are available to him. So that means he's going to fight who? Valenzuela for his WBA title, so he can become a legitimate 3-weight world champion finally by fighting Valenzuela. Like, people think that would be a big fight. Who wants to spend $80 to watch Tank Davis fight that guy? Not that I would hate on the fight, but you want to sell that as a pay-per-view and try to talk about him being the face of American boxing, but be critical of Canelo for fighting Berlanga and Munguia. But you're going to have fucking Tank fight fucking Valenzuela. Rayo, right? A guy that got knocked the fuck out by Santos. Nobody knocked out Berlanga or Munguia. So this is the problem with dudes like him. They're fucking obviously hypocritical. Huge hypocrites, man. And consistently always hypocrites. You're like criticizing literally people of shitting on Black American fighters and not giving them respect. But yet all your content does exactly that. Once again, you're shitting on Lomachenko. You did not need to shit on Lomachenko to hype up fucking Shane Mosley. No, you could have just gave Shane Mosley praise. You did not even need to mention Lomachenko. But of course, pushing this constant racial fucking back and forth is what you always do and what you have to do. Because the dudes that follow your channel are only on your channel because of the racist rhetoric you consistently put on your channel. If there were no Black Americans, America would be irrelevant in sports around the world. Really? Really? Okay. Like, that statement tells you everything you need to know about the racial lens that this guy looks at the world through. This guy literally made this one too. I love this one. Let's check out this one. This one is great. Where is it? Did you get rid of it? Where is it? Come on. I love this too. America wins the U.S. Olympics and somehow fucking we're acting like it's some big deal. Like, literally, if America didn't win the fucking Olympics, that would be the travesty, because there's no reason they shouldn't win. No other team has close to the fucking squad of the States. But here's the funny thing. So he puts this out there. So Black is beautiful, right? You got some sisters out there. You got some brothers, blah, blah, blah. The funny thing is, what does he say in this? People even comments like, I'm glad I'm Black and from the South. I love Black folks, but hate, that what Chris Rock said. I don't know what he said. And the irony is, John didn't even marry a Black girl. So that statement just looks fucking ridiculous. And it's kind of disrespectful to your wife, because she ain't Black. And not to say you can't feel Black is beautiful. I have no problem with that. I mean, I dated a lot of sisters throughout high school and university, right? And then I dated a lot of Asian girls after I finished university until I moved to Taiwan. Haven't dated too many fucking white girls, but dated a lot of ethnically diverse people because I thought they were attractive, sexy, didn't look like me. And because they didn't look like me, that was more attractive. I don't need to date someone that looks like my sister. That would be weird. But, they always say opposites attract. In his case, that's true. In mine as well. So I always thought it'd be better if everybody mixed. If you had everybody mix in marriage and kids, then this whole racial narrative would die out because everybody would be a mutt, everybody would be mixed, everybody would be darker and have more pigmentation, more melanin, right? And you would have less necessity to have this fucking constant racial fucking back and forth. But it's ironic because outside of the US, you don't really have this whole racial fucking back and forth going on nearly as much. Not that racism isn't there, it's throughout Europe, through Asia as well. I mean, racism is everywhere. And the majority of times it's not against blacks. So, racism is a thing that is worldwide. But why is it that John can only see through the racial lens? Why do you need to shit on Lomachenko? Lomachenko's had a great career. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. I know that fucking makes you angry. You got to ask yourself why. Two-time Olympic gold medalist, three-weight world champion, unified lightweight champion, right? Now he's a two-time lightweight champion. He's had a great career for a very short period of time. Obviously not that short. He's been a pro, 12 years? 11 years? Right? Not as long as guys like Wilder or the Charlos. Probably not as long as Tank Davis. But yet he's done more than all of those fighters probably combined. Oh, I know Charlo became undisputed, but let's be honest. His resume ain't nothing to fucking get excited about. And he lost to Harrison and he lost to Castano. So, I wouldn't say that either of those fighters are on the level of fucking a Lopez and a Haney. But yet, JB constantly pushing this rhetoric, right? And he's going to get in his feelings because now I'm pointing out the fact that Mosley used PEDs. Well, I just wanted to point out that fact because I thought it was a fact that maybe you should have mentioned in your video when you're trying to act like he had a way better career and a better resume, even though he is a known drug cheat. And you like to highlight that when you talk about non-black fighters, but for some reason when it's Mosley, you fucking skipped over that and ignored it completely. I wonder why. But I'm the hater? Dude, your content is constantly fucking full of hate. That's all you do. Hate like a motherfucker. But that ain't a surprise. But leave your video or your comments below. Thanks for watching, everyone. Peace out and enjoy your week. Obviously, we're back to work. Well, I am. I guess you're just getting ready to go back to work. Lucky you. But, we obviously have big fights happening this weekend. I'm going to be making an Inui fight card video later today. So stick to that. That will be up by the time I wake up in the morning. So peace out. Enjoy your night. Leave your comments below. Who do you think was a better fighter? Shane Mosley or Vasily Lomachenko? To each their own.